I'm in the studio and I got my my GoPro plugged in, and it was at 90% when I plugged it in, and it's like a 1 meter cable, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so like it's got to be able to keep it charged, right? Otherwise, how is it going to work? So anyway, I'm here because I'm testing this out, and no, I don't have two microphones going at once like I did last time. That was arguably very entertaining, I'm quite certain, right? I'll throw some comments up here because I want to test that. I'm sure someone will dive in. I know it's only it's 10 to 4 here in Party City, and so that means it is basically 5 a.m. In East Coast, and what would that make it? 2 a.m. West Coast, right? Because it's 4-2. Yeah, so it's like 2 a.m. in California, so there's no way any of you guys are going to be up. I'm confident none of you guys are going to be awake on the East Coast either, especially dudes like Joe, right? So, hey, greetings, sir. How are you? It's good to see you. One of the reasons that I'm doing this is I got a great comment by, you guys probably remember, Vinegar Media. Well, Vinegar Media, he basically sent me a message, said, man, it's really good to hear your voice. And yeah, that's a great question. Where have I been hiding? Basically in here. I told Robbie the other day, I said, look, dude, I'm only working half days, just 12 hours, right? And if you listen to a couple of my other videos elsewhere, you know that, like, yeah, it's it's good that you've been working in there, Mike, because the microphones were sounding really lousy there for a while. Excuse me, but I found some compressors, and the lighting is still bad in here, and I know that. But what I'm doing is right now is my biggest test is like, okay, so I'm going to use this GoPro as a webcam. I'm going to test that. And ideally, it will be charged by the computer, right? Because, I mean, it's like, well, how am I supposed to use this if it doesn't, how am I supposed to use it as a webcam if it doesn't at least, like, stay, solid with the power? And I'm not doing 4K, and I'm not, it's not really getting warm or whatever, but. So where have I been? Okay, so it is, let's see, it's October of 2023. And earlier in the year, basically July and August, I was in the Boston area, in Hingham, Massachusetts, where I grew up, hanging out with my folks, and they're doing great, which I'm very excited about. And wait, is that Grover or Cookie Monster that you've got there, Richard? I can't tell. Or is it, wait, is it Cookie? No. I can't tell who it is. Anyway, I think it's Grover, but I think Grover's purple, isn't he? So, did the Boston thing for a little bit, and then prior to that, I was actually here doing this, but not the studio. I was doing more of the transmitter stuff. So we have this really awesome radio station now, which is really cool. 95 FM here in Pattaya, and of course streaming online at thespot.fm. So that's fun. Earlier in the year, in March, Gracie and I cruised back to Boston, also to see my folks for about a month. And so that's kind of cool. Mario from Glove and Boots. Did I seriously just say Glove? Been a while since I read that whole English language thing, so Mario from Glove and... Dude, I don't know what that is at all. I looked at it. Is that also a Muppets thing? I mean, I looked at the little, what do you call it? Not emoji. Oh, God, I don't even remember what you call that, but regardless. So here's the other thing, too. Is what I used to be on YouTube until they discovered there was no money. Me too. I get it. But there's a lot of emotional payment, quite frankly, which I totally dig. Let me, if you don't mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out me on YouTube, and I'm also going to check it out on Facebook and a couple of other places like that. Oh, that's sort of interesting. I just typed YouTube, and it went to the homepage for the spot, and then the first video to pop up is last update on my cancer in Thailand, Pattaya. Kevin Thailand from 4 years ago. He got 81,000 views on the last update that he made to cancer. That was... I was reminded earlier today of October-ish, which I believe is when he was going to... when they will occasionally have parties over at the the Hideaway, right here in Pattaya, to kind of celebrate a celebration of life, as they say. So, oh, that's right, I'm not on the spot. So yeah, so I'm doing this pretty much everywhere except the spot. And so I'm on bkk.fm, I'm on my Facebook, I'm on bkk.fm and Facebook. I'm actually streaming to the spot on Mixcloud, because I gotta pay Mixcloud, which basically means I can play copyrighted music, essentially. And so that's something that I wanted to check out. So you're not listening to this, but I am. But I'm listening back to myself, so that's why there's sort of a pause. Anyway, that sounds pretty good on YouTube. I'm pleased with that. And it's pretty good because, again, the micro, not, you know, none, all this stuff I basically found like underneath the desk or in the closet, and the mic processors, or they're not really mic processors, they're audio processors, they're compressors, but they don't have 48 volts phantom power, right? So they weren't initially designed to be mic processors, but that's what I'm using them as, and so therefore I have to use the aux bus on the mixer to get it go through there. The vertical video clip they did was hilarious. Oh, okay, cool. I will definitely check that out. Thank you. Yeah, let me go over to Mixcloud and check that out. Thanks for coming by, dude. Where are you right now, and what time is it where you are? Because that's always sort of interesting to me. I miss a lot of you guys, and so whether you're watching this live or you're just not commenting, I know that MetTech is basically in my time zone, so that's pretty awesome. Let me type in the spot Thailand and see if I can find our channel on Mixcloud, because that would be very helpful. Oh yeah, when I type in the spot, I end up going to Solardo, because those guys have a users. The spot Thailand, 0 followers. Oh yeah, so it does say that I'm live now. All right. So mixcloud.com/live/the spot Thailand. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I will say that's pretty good. I have a tendency sometimes to like overmodulate my voice, because I'm sure it's an ego thing from radio that like I really want it to sound really boomy and heavy and massive in my ears. Because historically, the way that it would work is because, of course, the entire audio chain was effectively analog, that you would literally listen to yourself from a tuner. You would listen to yourself like on air. And so you weren't like right now, I'm listening to myself post-processed, but not like, you know, from the internet. So anyway, I'm still tweaking it. It's, I like these microphones. Again, they're worth everything I paid for them. That's for sure. And, so that's kind of fun. Sarasota, Florida, it is. Yeah. 25 degrees. Oh, so that's not so bad. 25 is pretty good. I don't like it a whole lot less than 25. I got to tell you that right now. We have our air conditioner. If our air conditioner in our condo here in Jomtien, if it's set less to like 24, then both Gracie and I would be like, what the hell's wrong? Is one of us sick? So we barely go below 25. 27 is usually what it sits at. And as you know, you guys know, I run the air conditioner wide open with my windows wide open. We have screens in the current condo, which is totally cool. Again, 19th floor. Unlikely we're going to get any sort of mosquitoes, but still, I like the screens there, and you can leave them open, and then you're not distracted by possible bzzz. Don't you hate that mosquito right in your ear? Ugh. The other sort of thing that I'm doing right now is effectively I'm killing time. And so right now it's 2 minutes before 4. And I believe at like 4 o'clock there's, what's his name? Oh God, I forgot his name. Anyway, the guy from Buzzin'. Trevor. I think he does a live stream or something. But at 5, actually in about 25-30 minutes, I'm going to cruise down to Soy 7 in Pattaya. And I'm going to cruise over there, and I'm going to check out the live stream that the guys at A7 DJ Bar, so Nick and his buddy Martin, their live stream, and I'm going to try to get there around 4:30, because then I can, you know, basically check out all the tech, check out all the gear, because that's what I like to do. So that's pretty cool. and their live stream is well produced for sure. They don't, I mean, again, I've only got the one camera here, and I'm trying to decide how many cameras to buy. Obviously, the short answer is it's really easy to just buy two. But I want to be able to do HDMI because this USB connectivity, obviously, the video fidelity of it is pretty lousy. But anyway, so to all of that, hello, Sarasota, Florida. How you doing, man? Hope you're well. Not sure if pop music is your thing, but if it is, I'd love it if you would listen to the spot.fm and let me know if that's sort of your thing. If you like jazz music, then listening to it would actually probably be like fingernails on a chalkboard for you, so that probably wouldn't add value. And but if you like rock music, you could also go to the spot.fm, download that app, and in there is an icon that looks like a globe with headphones on it, and that is bkk.fm, and that is the rock of the earth, my friends. That is rock music streaming out of Bangkok. But I also have another domain that's coming up. I'm really excited. I have bought another radio station because, of course, if one's good, three's better. And so now I own Bangkok.fm, and I'm tweaking the format a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more female-focused, if you will. It's going to be more focused to that sort of demo. It was pretty focused on that before. I want the spot.fm to be pretty much neutral down here. But for the most part, all the, sort of the foreigners, they're partners, right? They'll be listening to it. So we're going to be advertising for that. We have this juice company that we're advertising for. They're really cool. They're called lifestylejuicery.com. My buddy is the CEO. His name is Jamie. And they deliver. And that's sort of their deal. It's a white glove treatment, So anyways, that's Lifestyle Juicery. And whenever the bell goes off, that basically means that I'm basically giving someone free advertising. That's the way that works. So it's also very Pavlovian, which, as you know, I'm actually a big fan of. So yeah, all right. So I know that I completely forgot to bring my soft boxes over, so that's kind of a drag. But yeah, so I'm going to head over to A7 DJ Bar. The live stream there starts at 5, but I want to get there at 4:30, so I'm like, usually they're set up by 4:30 and they're just kind of waiting around. And because what I don't want to do is go over there and be a pain, and, hey man, how you doing? How many cables do you have? I don't want to, do that because people do that to me, and it bugs me. It's adorable, and I love the fact that someone would have interest in like something that I'm doing. That's totally cool. The downside is that when the questions come basically at the same time that you're about ready to go on air, and that's like, I'm kind of trying to prep here, dude. That's not going to work. So. Anyway, so streaming on YouTube on a couple channels, my Facebook, bkk.fm on Facebook, as well as this Mixcloud thing, and that's turning out pretty good. I'm very happy about that. I didn't know that I would be able to do that. And in fact, the other thing that I kind of want to do is I want to actually play some streaming music and see what happens to the video, because for the most part, okay, so right now we're actually airing Asia Pop 40, so it's not like it's not super copyrighted music in the sense that by that I mean ones that will be globally banned. And so, for example, if I play an AC/DC song on YouTube, then they absolutely will they will say, sorry dude, not happening. So all right, Richie, what do you got? I know you've been sober, and I get it, but I noticed something weird. It seems all the bars have the exact same drink menu, and none of them can make a whiskey sour. Really? I don't know. I don't know if I ever drank whiskey sours. I know the first thing I ever drank was gin and tonics, and then I would drink beer with my buddies, and then I was like, dude, you got to be kidding me. This beer nonsense, there's no alcohol in this beverage. There's zero ROI to this thing. This is the most ineffective, inefficient way to basically get inebriated. So then I switched to 1.75 liter bottles of vodka and rum, either one. Because that's what you do when you're 16, 17, of course, duh. And so it was funny. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's from Louisiana. You guys probably know the guy that has the YouTube channel Eat Out Patia, which of course I call Eating Out Patia. His name is Ryan. Hung out with him yesterday a little bit, and that's another reason I'm going to the bar tonight, because I got to go see him and give him back his memory stick, because he is an awesome person for a number of reasons, not the least of which is he threw his drone in his backpack, cruised over to the radio station, and was able to go up and down the tower so that I could see what kind of damage there might be. Because if you don't know anything about towers, you want the highest one that's absolutely possible. However, and being near the coast, like when you're near salt water and humidity and all that sort of thing, you want to be there from a perspective of your signal will go further. But the last thing you want is your metal tower near there. You want your metal tower basically in the middle of Arizona, like dry, nothing, you know. And here it's Thailand, right? So therefore TIT, this is Thailand. And so when they installed it, I'm quite certain they climbed up and they're like, you know, we could put stainless steel through here, but obviously it's going to be so much cheaper if we use these steel bolts. Because it'll only take them 3 years to completely rust out. So I proactively don't want my tower to fall over. So anyway, so Ryan cruised over with his DJI and ran it up and down, and it's totally awesome, and then gave me the memory stick. So I'm going to cruise over and say hi to him and give him his memory stick back. Additionally, I hear that Mitch is going to be over there. And it's funny because every time I say, yeah, I'm going to go see Mitch, my wife, she's like, oh, Mr. Mitch? I'm like, yes, he's known very well from his YouTube handle. So yeah, so Mr. Mitch, I'm going to go check him out. So that could be like totally cool. What is this? Do not attempt. What did you say, Richard? Do not attempt to play any songs by the Eagles. They will sure sue you into oblivion and pay the licensing fee. Have you ever seen that David Letterman sketch? Or it's not really a sketch. I mean, it's more of like sort of a live thing between him and Paul, and how they were like, okay, we can't play any Eagles songs. They can't play any. So yeah, I don't think we play. I might play some on BKK.FM, but again, that station is also very sort of compartmentalized to Asia. And believe it or not, like it's super easy. It's expensive, but it's super easy to basically get licensing for music to stream online. You can do that all day long in ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, Sound Exchange, and other licensing boards in the United States that'll take care of that for you. Or you do what we had to do so we could get our app into the App Store as well as into Google Play, is we signed up for Live 365. And so the people that listen to us in the United States, they go through Live 365, and then the licensing is taking care of that. However, they don't take care of licensing in Thailand. I reached out to these companies out of the UK that basically are in charge of licensing the whole rest of the world. They never got back to me, wouldn't give me a price, wouldn't return my emails. I mean, like, how do I pay you so that we can like pay for the licensing that we have? And just nobody. So it was very frustrating. So this is cool. So that's coming in from D Live, which, if you guys don't know, that is a streaming platform on the blockchain. And so D Live and D Live Sweat apparently is this guy. So thanks for coming by, dude. Or dudette. Totally appreciate it. I'm really thrilled that Mixcloud is working, because the cool thing is I have a paid subscription on Mixcloud, right? Which means I can totally like stream the spot. That's like really, really cool. And so I may be doing some actual shows, like, because I could stream on the spot, and then that way, let me see if this is going to come through. I can't remember whether I have this. Ah, yeah, it is. All right. So that's cool. Yeah, all right, good. So I'm really excited about Mixcloud. That's going to be awesome. That'll allow me to like do shows while I'm on there. Because even if I was like, some of the guys like want to know like the software that I'm using for automation and that sort of thing. But even if I do that, then I sample like a few seconds of or 20 seconds, right, when I do like a voiceover or something like that. So anyway, all right, well, cool. So that works too. And let's see, 407 in Party City here. So Richard, what's your deal? Are you a regular Thailander? Are you going to do you come over here on a regular basis? I was standing next to this guy, or I was sitting next to this guy who was standing on the bot bus earlier today, and he was like, he's from Canada, and he mentioned to this other guy. This other guy was like, "Oh, where are you from?" So he's like, "Oh, I'm from Canada." And he's like, "Oh, why do you like Thailand?" He goes, "Oh, because it's a lot warmer here." I'm like, "You think?" Canada is just ridiculously cold in the winter, right? As is New England, quite frankly. So anyway, he was saying where he was from, and I told him where my family area is from, where I've been before, and where I sort of grew up. Not sort of, where I did grow up, and then where I moved when I was in my 20s, and then lived for basically, almost 30 years, San Diego, California. And in doing so, it was very interesting because he's like, yeah, I spent 6 months here and 6 months there. So naturally, I'm always curious, like whether you're a 6-monther or that. They're June to August, coming back in December. Awesome, man. And so, what's your favorite spot? A lot of guys, of course, will ask me, "Oh, dude, what's going on in Pattaya?" Right? And if they're single or they're like single and recently divorced, kind of thing, and they have, they feel like they've been taken advantage of, that sort of thing. And they're like, "Oh, dude, what's Bacau like?" I'm like, "Well, it's a complete disaster." It's so Bacau, dude. I mean, what do you think oh yeah, there's no traffic and there's, they've put up a whole bunch of temples, like one after another. It's like, no, it's full of lady boys, massage parlors, and exchange, things where you can exchange your money. So. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I remember. I've forgotten so many people, sadly, and obviously haven't done live streams in forever, which is really cool. That's why I was really psyched that Vinegar Media said something. That was really neat to get his comment. But yeah, I remember this now. And then, as you probably recall, right, one of the reasons we started chatting, I believe, is that Gracie and I were in Cha Am for a while, which is still a really, really, I love Cha Am. There's just so much about it that really fits me, but there's also some pieces of it that I don't like, not the least of which is, like, there's a ton of seafood, and it's not excellent seafood. It's decent seafood, but it's not excellent. Because you got to, I grew up in New England, right? And so, like, there's pretty good seafood there, and so you kind of get used to that sort of thing. Thailand has some places that really have great seafood, and for sure there are some really cool restaurants there. Hua Hin is a little bit too busy for me, in the sense that, like, if I'm going to be in a community like that, I totally prefer Cha Am, because it's one of these places where basically the Thais vacation. And for the most part, they pretty much only vacation like Friday night through Sunday. And so, like, Monday through Thursday in Cha Am is awesome. It was like only Child Beach in November of 2019. And so that was really nice, and we really enjoyed ourselves down there. But there's also, I can't stand up a radio station down here. There's like so much advertising potential here in Pattaya, and there's so just bland radio. There's nothing that I'm used to producing, which is 110% at 80 miles an hour, in your face, absolutely hit radio, flamethrower, high energy, super positive, gratitude attacks, the whole thing. And so I'm really excited to bring that. And then, of course, Robbie's doing it with me. So that's what's really cool, because doing let's face it, right? Success is a team sport. And so I can only do so much of this myself before it's like, Then when I want to take a break, the momentum sort of stops, So it's kind of a drag. Only thing that sucks, the flights in and out only go to Chiang Mai. Oh, okay, but they have flights now, right? From that little, how big is that airport? I don't even think the runway's 3,000 feet, is it? It's the infamous municipal airport, right? You're down in Sarasota, so obviously you got some pretty big airports there, but I know you have private aircraft down in that area, and so I'm sure the airports down there are kind of small, and that's kind of what Hua Hin is like, right? I remember driving by the airport. My biggest memories of Hua Hin were basically experiencing it during COVID, and I also have those memories of experiencing Pattaya during COVID, and that was brutal. It was devastating to this place. Cha Am, it was disappointing, and there was a lot of foreigners weren't there, and of course, Thais couldn't even travel. they were just like, they were paralyzed. They just were like, oh my God, the government says if we travel, we're going to die. To something like that. But they also sort of, they banded together and they're like, okay, look, we're going to wear masks. We're not going to do any of this nonsense like they do in the United States. 50% want to wear, 50% don't, or whatever. And I'm not saying one way or the other is good. All I'm saying is that I really appreciated the fact that the Thais, from a foreigner's perspective, my impression was they all kind of sat down and said, look, we're Thai. So you either do the Thai thing or you don't do the Thai thing. And there were obviously people that balked at it and didn't think Thais, But it was really great to see, sort of the whole country coming together. And if you guys remember, at the beginning of COVID, there was no COVID in Thailand. They were having like 1 or 2 deaths a week. It was just like nothing. Then Omicron showed up and it went full tilt boogie. But they also had the vaccine pretty much fairly available by that time. So that was nice. And again, Gracie and I got all the 4 vaccines when we were here in Thailand, mainly because you needed the piece of paper that said you got the vaccine so you could travel. And we came over here to travel. So, Yeah, but well, I mean, to be fair, like the trek down to Hua Hin from Bangkok, it's not bad, you know. I mean, there's no like I got to tell you, I mean, I've done the drive from Bangkok to Pattaya or Jomtien, which is where we live, but basically Pattaya, several times, and in fact, I've even done it like 4 or 5 times. I think I did it 5 times in one day, and that gets tiring. That is a tough drive because you hit it, you know, like at 2 in the morning and you think, oh, great, there's no traffic. And then, you know, yeah, there's no traffic, but the only traffic that's on the motorway are people that are basically aggressive. And, you know, and my experience with being in like cities and things is that Thai drivers are actually quite cordial. And so I wasn't experiencing that a whole lot on the motorways. And so that was a drag. So if he's going, because I think he got back into town yesterday, and I think Ryan told me that Mitch is going to be over there. But if I do see him, I will say sorry. And that was, and you were joking with him. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, even like this, the same thing happens to me. I can tell you that Robbie and I, who are literally getting to know each other better and better every single day, which is just a great trajectory for success for our business, right? But it's also nice having a really cool friend, and that's neat because I will tell you that the majority, sadly, not the ones of the guys that are listening to this stream, likely, for example, Jason, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. I will get you some dancing girls. I promise. And you mean showed up to the live stream or physically showed up in? You show up in Jomtien or you show up in Pattaya, dude. I can promise you dancing girls. Like surrounding you to the point where when we walk down Soi Buakhao, they'll be like, oh my God, they took all of the guys in BTS and they threw them in a blender. And now there's one guy and he is BTS and he's surrounded by dancing girls. And that's what's walking down. How's that scenario work for you? But to that point, you know what, dude? I've been totally accused of putting a lot more emotion into emails than I have before. And that has led to, ideally, it leads to basically a discussion. And the downside is that depending upon the mood of either person or what's going on around them, they can be like, you know what, screw this guy, block, delete, or whatever. I would say probably 10% of the people that I blocked on Facebook, I shouldn't have. And this is back when I was doing videos and I was getting all these trolls on YouTube and I'm like, I'm done. I did not come over here to live the dream to have some jackass keyboard hacker basically, you know, try and change my mood. I'm like, that is not happening. And so I got kind of away from that. So sometimes my knee-jerk reaction to that. But I absolutely will, Richard. I will totally say that. And, you know, if it comes up, because I can tell you right now, one of the coolest guys is absolutely Mr. Mitch. And he's a great guy. And he has a ton of friends and well-deserved. And so anyway, it'll be really great to see him. Whenever he and I see each other, it's just sort of like one of those instantaneous smile things, you know? So anyway, I mean, I like that sort of stuff, right? I mean, I guess I'm kind of corny, but anyway. That's what's going on. Hello, Dennis. What's happening, dude? Holy smokes. Who's this friggin' gringo? Surprised his curls haven't grown back by now. They probably should have. I'll tell you what. Let me say this, Dennis. Mickey is living the dream. What time you got over there, man? 4:16 here. So you're doing 7 a.m., right? You're over there in the land of green with your sack of potatoes. There's a very interesting thing that's happening in Pattaya actually next year. I didn't realize that the St. Paddy's Day parade was like such a big deal over here. But they're already, I got a buddy of mine who's basically in charge of like a portion of it. And 1017. Aha, very good. All right. Well, good, because weren't you the guy that used to always give me crap? Listen, Mike, this is very inconvenient for me. You doing this whole 8 a.m. in your time zone thing. Just because it's convenient for you doesn't mean it's convenient for me. For the love of God, find a time that's good for Dennis, dude, and let's do a broadcast then. That's what I'm talking about. And so there's a great example, right, Richard? if I didn't remember who Dennis was, and I didn't, and he and I didn't give each other crap back and forth, and we didn't have some of this sort of like, if you don't know, I mean, my family's basically Scottish and, heritage, right? So we got that little bit of like sarcasm. We give each other shit, which basically means we love each other. And so I got to tell you, man, if that wasn't that, then I would be sending you a message going, hey, Richard, so the next time you talk to Dennis, can you tell him I'm really sorry for telling the whole world that he had a really small peep? See what I did just then? How you doing? Oh my God, my talents just explode. It's amazing that without any like cushion on top, I can keep all this talent inside and it doesn't just ooze out of my pores. It's just amazing that occurs. I want to get back to dancing girls. That is actually a very important topic. Don't you think, Jason? Jason, this has been the case for so many people. I don't know if you guys do this. Maybe you do this, Richard. I leave Thailand and I go home. And then I'm basically, I go back to the country that I'm from. Because this is home for sure. But I just say it that way because I forget to. So I go back to the United States. And for the most part, that means I go back to my hometown where I grew up, and I basically hang out with my parents, or Gracie's with me, so I hang out with my parents and Gracie. And for the most part, I'm like pretty much obsessed about what's going on there, and I make sure everything's great. And then, I'll take a little break, go for a walk or whatever. And so then about 6 weeks go by. And then I get into the scenario where it's like, I'm going to watch it. I'm just going to double click on a few YouTube videos. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to get back into the flow. Okay, fine. So then I do that. Well, if anything more than about 2 months goes by, then I do what Robbie is doing right now. And I know I'm not like outing him or anything. He's watching a lot of YouTube videos. And I know exactly why. And I did the exact same thing before I came here, certainly before I came here permanently, is I missed Thailand. And that's one of the things that we're trying to accomplish actually with the radio station, right? So in other words, the spot.fm or bkk.fm, we're going to be throwing some stuff in there that's actually very Bangkok related for bkk.fm. And then respectively, the spot.fm, it's going to be very sort of Pattaya related. Because I know for me, when I was home, I would listen to Kiss FM. I would listen to Phuket Island Radio on the apps when I was having my shower in the morning before I would get back into the rat race and get into the car and take my 12-minute commute in my $58,000 car, because that was a great use of money, and go to my job. So, oh my God, dude, I gotta tell you, I know he probably is cautious about commenting on the live streams, because if you don't know, every time I see Side Trip Life, I'm just like, God, I want to hang out with this guy. I love his videos, but I don't have, there's not enough attention units in my life to be able to watch his videos, because they're so freaking rich with data for me that I literally have to sit there and watch with like a pen and a paper. Are you still in Jakarta? That was the last one that I saw. And just so you know, if you follow the history, video actually did not kill the radio star. They thought they were going to. Everyone, I'll never forget, there were broadcast schools once MTV started, broadcast schools that came up and say, okay, so all of you guys that are like radio DJs and you're in you're a communications major at this college and stuff, and they have a local radio station. Okay, well, the DJ is gone and there's going to be just VJs. Everyone's going to be VJs. Everyone is going to be, God, I know his first name was Mark, but I can't remember his last name, the guy on MTV. And then what was the other woman's name? It was pretty early on, and was it Carla or something? Anyway, I remember looking at that, and I'm going, I don't think so, because there's a different version of personality that shows up when you're basically an anchor, right? And so that's what those people were effectively. And so there's massive cue cards and everything like that. Now, for sure, their own personality came out, and I thought that was really cool. But then I remember in where I grew up, in the Boston area, so there's MTV, it's on cable, and everyone's, they're doing I Want My MTV, which was an amazing campaign. If you've ever studied any degree of marketing, study I Want My MTV. That was just blown. Oh my God, they did such a great thing about that. Let me get back to this, because I love Side Trip Life like a fat kid loves cake, and I don't want to miss any comments by him. But that was my little jaunt there on Sumatra. Just VOD time, VOD time. Oh my God, I'm so ignorant. I don't know what that is. I'm totally cool. I'm gonna have to tear up my Canada card and not be able to hang out with Side Trip Life, because I don't know what that. And I don't know about you guys, because I think a lot of you are my age. You know, like when we were kids, did you ever look up dirty words in the dictionary and think you were like getting away with something? Okay, here's why I say that. Because for some reason, whenever I see Sumatra, my mind says, what does it say? You guys know. I know you're saying it with me right now, back home. Kama Sutra, right? Of course, because I'm a total degenerate. But like, I don't understand why that like immediate delta like goes in there. But that's what I see every time I say, you know, every time I see Sumatra. So yeah, I'm growing up leaps and bounds, guys. Let me just tell you right now. I know you subscribe, but everybody knows, everyone in America is 91.7% Irish. Yeah. Especially everyone in Boston, right? I mean, if you're living in Southie, let me just tell you this, Bobby. If you're living in Southie and you're not part Irish, I got no use for you. I need you out of here. I need you to go park that car. Bobby, you can't park there. Bobby, you park there, you son of a... I like the resonance that's got. Although I definitely have my gate turned up way too high because when I do this, it just falls. It falls right off. That's not good at all. Oh, okay. What do we got going on? Richard Petchbury hanging out with Mrs. KFC Benja. You know, okay, why do you call her Mrs. KFC? Because I remember Benja, she actually said hello on some video recently, but she came over to the Bangkok Strange quite a bit. Benja, that's how I think I first met her. And I think she's friends with Mitch. I can't remember. But Miss KFC was trying to kill me with my seafood allergy. Yeah, I'm not sure I should be telling this story. I think I should absolutely be telling this story. I unfortunately don't have the ability to bring anyone on this live stream because I actually need to go and I need to head down to Soy 7. Good man, absolutely. Just ask me. All the original MTV VJs and DJs on Sirius XM 80s channel. They are actually. I'll tell you what. One of my just heroes when I was a kid, when FM was basically just starting. One of my heroes, the guy's name was Jeremy Savage, and he was on WCOZ in Boston, 94.5, kick-ass rock and roll with no BS. What a freaking slogan. And you got to remember, this is in the 70s, right? Where, like, you know, the most sort of risque behavior on TV was Three's Company, you know? I mean, and no one, of course, talked about what occurred on Three's Company. They just had Three's Company, you know, and they didn't talk about, like, I don't know, the fact that they wanted to be part of the Pride Parade, you know, but they were way ahead of their time. But anyway, yeah, so kick-ass rock and roll with no BS. That was, but Jeremy Savage, dude, he's over on Sirius. A bunch of my buddies are actually over there too. One of the production guys that I worked with when I was in San Diego, I just forgot his name. That's horrible. I want to say something Scott, but that's not right. Oh my God. God, I hate when that happens. Clearly, I need to take like some memory pills, but of course I forgot to take them. See what I did just then? Yeah, exactly. Hello, Chris. What are you doing, buddy? Open Messenger and got it. Replied via line, brother. Making dinner, listening. In the BG, baby. Good for you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got my message, Rick. Oh, wait, what's this guy's name? Rick Savage. Any really? I'm quite certain that Jeremy Savage is his air name and not John Garabedian was another one. These are guys that were on BCN. Boston radio back in the 70s and 80s was just amazing. I mean, you want to talk about, like, if you're into radio, that was I just loved it. It was a great place. Totally great place to go. Got Mr. Mitch and Don from Canada mixed up. Don used to call me Benja's #1 fan. Now, remind me, does she have a YouTube channel? I know that she has. I think Facebook, like, reminds me of stuff that she's doing now and again. And, speaking of Robbie, ladies and gentlemen, are you having relations with me right now, Robbie? I was actually commenting about how you and I could potentially, or you, actually, I don't seem to interpret it wrong, but I know that because of the way that I speak, sometimes people interpret what I say with a little bit more emotion. They're like, why did Mike's just say that? And it's like, oh, right. I need to have a little bit more class, a little bit more tact, a little bit more finesse in my verbiage. But good to see you, man. Glad you're doing well. I'm trying to remember, like, the first time I met Robbie, and I know it was via a live stream that I was doing, and he would hop on my live stream. This is back during COVID when I was doing them from the condo. But I'm trying to remember what your YouTube handle was back then. And I don't think it might have just been your name. It might have just been Robbie, but that doesn't sound right. It for me, part of me thinks that it was like something to do with where you were. So it was like, Dr. Pismo or something like that. I don't remember, but anyway, so Robbie, you'll be here soon, and as you can see, I'm I'm basically using the on-air studio as my workbench, and so that will stop soon, I promise. But I also noticed that it is 16, 28, 55, 56, 57, and so therefore it is 4:30. I made a commitment to myself to basically head over there no later than 4:30. So I'm going to head over to a live stream that, if you guys find it entertaining, I highly encourage you to watch it. It's basically on the channel NDTVI, and Nick and thanks, man, appreciate it. And Nick and Martin will be broadcasting live, and the shtick that they have, it's not really sort of my, brand or anything like that, but I do want to check out their equipment because they really have good production value. I mean, again, I'm just using this microphone or this camera that's like 2 meters away, so it's like, oh my god, I can't, but I wanted to just throw something up, and I wanted to do some additional testing. I was very pleased with the audio from the other day. I'm also very pleased with the audio today. I'm not banging again anything over. I'm basically getting nowhere near 0 dB, and I'm pretty much at like minus 10, and that's friggin' awesome because the chances of distortion are pretty friggin' low. But yeah, I'm using the GoPro via USB, and so, which reminds me, I should probably buy a media mod, right? Because then I can get HDMI out. I know you have a media mod, so we're good there. But we need to figure out how we can use our GoPros a lot more effectively. But drop the link. Okay, stand by. Let me do that, and then I will leave. How's that? Because that way I will leave you guys with a call to action about something to do. Let's see, live. And here, and it says 6 waiting. So yeah, so they're starting in like 30 minutes. So hold on, share, copy, and they do this little sort of intro at the beginning of it, where they basically will play a video of some kind. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let me. Well, it's there, but at the end of the day, if you can click on that, great. I know that it goes out to the YouTube channels, but I don't think it goes to Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook or listening on Facebook or listening on DLive or Mixcloud or LinkedIn, I don't believe you can click on that. But regardless, anyway, I just wanted to do this. I wanted to. No, the camera doesn't overheat, but again, you got to remember, dude, I'm doing 1080p. So I mean, I'm not doing anything 4K. 4K, and it like melts the friggin' paint off the wall. I mean, it's just so ridiculous, poorly made. I mean, it's really kind of frustrating. GoPro, no. This is a GoPro Hero 9 Black. So this is like, a totally old version, but a good one. And I have buddies that bought the 10 when that came out, and they told me that was like really a disappointment because I will tell you that one of my batteries I believe it's expanding. So that's freaking lame, but anyway, with that, my friends, I hope you are living the dream because, as I have said before, and hopefully you completely agree with me, if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. It's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, and as it turns out, oh my God, look it right over there, Mike's at the spot.fm, and if any of you know my DJ name, I will give you a big wet